Oh boy, that was way too loud. 1 second. Why and how? Why are we at 67? Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyways, guess what your boy did? Your boy cut his hair. Yeah, boy. Shave the sides. Anyways, welcome back today to 33. Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? I like leaning ears onto my laptop, but it's just not gonna work, so we'll see what happens. Apparently, one time my siblings went out for groceries, and we still typically do a pickup, so we don't go in too much, and blah blah, even though we're all vaccinated, we're all safe. Like, we try to be as safe as possible when we're in there. But what happened was one time, they went into a shop, grocery shopping, and there was apparently so many people without masks, and we're like, I don't know if the store dropped their personal policy, or did they just let people, like, because my state said masks are no longer mandatory if you're vaccinated. Of course that means if you're ballsy enough to not wear a mask. So of course I'm like, I'm gonna freaking wear a mask. Like, the heck. And so what happened was, people, even if they're not vaccinated, are now not wearing a mask. So but luckily each individual place we go typically still has a rule that you have to wear a mask. Like the personal establishment. However, that won't stop people from going to a big chain and being like, even so they say wear a mask, not wearing a mask. I was like, oh, well, it must have been at the beginning of this. No, this was actually months before even starting this channel. So what happened was, back at the very beginning of the pandemic, a year and a few months ago, I went to the grocery store, and my family, like, this is way before when there was no information about anything about COVID, or how, like, is it on items, is it this or that or whatever. But they're like, okay, at this point, masks are mandatory in my state, 6 feet away to be the safest, don't touch something, touch your face, obviously that's the whole point of a mask, blah blah blah. So do all that. So I go out, I'm wearing a mask, I go out, I'm the one grocery shopping, I pick up a few items, and all the self-checkout is closed because they don't want you touching it. It was before wiping off in between each thing, so they're like, only through the cash register. So I'm like, okay. I go through the cash register, boop 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 boop, and I'm just like awkwardly, like, not looking at you, and I step away so I'm not 6 feet to the cashier because they didn't have a thing up, I'm pretty sure. Maybe they did, but I don't want to be that close to him because that's really close. So I back up and I go to the end and put all my stuff in bags and put it in the cart. So nice far away, doing work. I go to pay. The person behind me, girlfriend, boyfriend, stepped up to my little square where my stuff is. And I'm like, he's not even finished ringing me up yet. And they're already standing there being like, okay, I'm ready. And I'm like, I gotta pay. So I look at them. They don't respond. They look at me and I'm like, they don't respond. So what I do, I stepped right up on them to pay, and they give it. I think now I would be so over it. I would have been like, back the hell up, and I would say it. But at this point, I wanted to be polite. But I'm like, oh, they're gonna recognize when I move forward to move away. And by the way, not wearing masks. I'm pretty sure they were not wearing masks. And so this was by far the most I did to get COVID. Maybe they were wearing a mask. But still, by far the worst outing for me is because I purposely walked close to someone, and I walked up, and given I'm kind of short, I walked up right in front of the boyfriend. His face is right here, looking down at me, and if he wasn't wearing a mask, I knew I would feel his breath on the back of my neck. And I put the credit card in, I wait, and luckily it wasn't my debit card because I'm like, dude, my PIN, my info, back the hell up, boy, back the hell up. Anyways, I put it in, I wait, and the girl now, halfway through the transaction, steps back. Not far, but a foot. Boyfriend is still right behind me, and I'm like, honey, I am spooning your boyfriend right now. Grab him, move him. If you're uncomfortable with me being this close to you in general, like, this is to the point where if it wasn't for them trying to make a point of how they didn't like COVID and the restrictions in place, no one would have stood that close to me is the point. So the point was that they are doing this because they didn't want to take COVID seriously and the precautions that you had to take seriously. So I guess they saw me super masked up, buying stuff to be like not running out for one item. Like I'm buying for the whole week for my family, and I'm trying to like look back up. So of course they're like, no, I'm not going to do that. So it was one of those things where it was just really funny to me that was like, in your stubbornness to try to prove that you don't care about COVID and the rules in place, you're really close. It's really weird. Back up. So it was very, very funny to me that I'm just like, back up. Same place, same grocery store. My sibling and I went, earlier in the year, earlier in the pandemic, where it was not, or literally just became mandatory to wear masks in stores. In my state, it just became mandatory. It was mandatory, at least in this particular store. Maybe it wasn't technically in the state, but it was in the store. And there's signs up, and they recently put, like, it was brand new on the floor with the walkways and stuff. And to the point where I'm like, hey, sibling, you're going the wrong way. And they're like, I didn't even notice. It's over the speaker. They're like, wear a mask. Go the correct way down the aisles. And I'm like, so we're going in, and we're walking around buying stuff. Again, looking like we do. We always make the joke of like the don't look suspicious gif. Yeah, like that's us going out. We're like, don't be suspicious. And so what happened is we're walking around, and there's masks, and there's arrows, and there's the speaker and everything. And we see these two people. I want to say they were siblings, solely because of the vibe I got, but technically they could have been a couple, but I kind of got sibling vibes from the way they interacted. And it looked like an older brother and a younger sister. And what happened, but adults, like older teenagers to adult and an older teenager. And I'm walking around, and we're like, so we're keeping a very big walkway distance from them, but they're not caring about which way to go. They don't care about distance. They don't do anything. Halfway through this time, I see that it clicks in the girl's mind. She's like, people are actually wearing masks. And this was before the store got masks. I think they started giving out masks for free at this place. But at this point, they didn't. They said, get the hell out if you don't have a mask. And so she goes like this. For about 30 seconds until she realized she didn't want to do that anymore. In her thin t-shirt, that didn't matter anyways. Now it's just worse because you're touching your face. And the guy didn't care. They go to self-checkout. They go into self-checkout with us at the same time, touching the candy bar, then they touch the bagging section. This was before, I guess, this place closed the self-checkout. Or maybe, I don't know why I didn't. Maybe I don't know why I went to the not self-checkout. Maybe I got a big order. Or a big trip. But anyways, point is, we went through the self-checkout. There was this guy, complete opposite. Masked up, hand sanitized after he touched things. Hand sanitized before using self-checkout. Like, before he came, like, when he came in, he hand sanitized. After he was done picking things up, going to self-checkout, he hand sanitized, and then afterwards. The thing is, he had to go to the same machine as these two non-maskers just, were using and touching a bunch of stuff. And touching their face, and touching their phone, and touching their face, and then touching the self-checkout, and then leaving. So part of me was like, should I tell him that, like, oh boy, you might have been real careful, but the people in front of you clearly never know, like, because they were, like, looking like, oh my god, I can't believe people are actually wearing masks. Again, at this point, it wasn't a thing in my state, but it was in stores. So I guess they just they didn't expect this store to actually be upholding it, or people to be upholding the rule in the store. But, so I didn't know if I should tell this guy or not, because I'm like, ooh, because everyone else is respectful. There's like a person between me, like my sibling, me, and that guy. There's a person in between, and then before us was the non-maskers. So, but there was multiple registers. So I'm just like, should I tell him? And I didn't know if I should or not. And I got so mad. I'm like, oh my god. Because this was when the numbers were in the thousands already. Like, it was like hundreds. Okay, let's wear masks, guys, in my state. And so it was like thousands of deaths, thousands of cases. And you are out here not wearing a mask, not caring at all. Ever since we got vaccinated, we don't wash anything off. We don't wait any amount of time. We feel more comfortable going to a restaurant, not going to restaurants, getting food from restaurants, fast food places and stuff. But, oh boy, did I lose it when these people go in there like, oh my gosh, yeah. And it's like, no, wear a mask. Or, like, literally leave. Literally just leave. Why are you here? Like, you can, I don't know, man. It was so annoying. And, there is still people like that later on. Where it really got me was, I was again, attached to a hospital. I was getting my allergy shots. Again, in an asthma center. Asthma, COVID do not mix. And I was in an asthma center, allergy asthma center, next to a hospital, like attached to a hospital. And there was this kid, and again, I said this in whenever it happened. This happened within this. And what happened was they had the mask underneath his nose. And I'm like, okay, he's like 10. He's like 10. He's like 10, that's fine. But then the older sibling, again, I would not say a full adult, but an older sibling, old enough to drive and to clearly take on the responsibilities of this 10-year-old kid, not saying anything there about anything, but it's like, same thing. I'm just like, I'm gonna lose it. And then they went and got water, so both of them were now not masked. And it was so annoying because my nurse, a few months ago, had a baby. So like, she was really pregnant, and then had a baby, and you're going to say, who cares? I'm gonna not wear, like, lower my mask down past my nose, like, and not care. And I'm just like, okay. And then my mallard, or the lady at the front desk, other lady, like a different lady, unrelated to it doesn't matter. She is so gosh darn sweet, and she sprayed the Lysols, and she wipes things down, everything down, and I'm just like, oh boy, because that's her watering, that's where she gets her water. She refills her water bottle via this bucket of water, the water fountain thing, but it's not a fountain, it's a jug, the water jug. But like, this kid just freaking went up, touched the cups, touched the thing, got multiple cups of water, and is now drinking it without a mask on, without feeling bad. So just like, okay. So, I don't know, man. Stay safe. Like, the heck? It ain't. Oh, it is the 4th. Ooh. 4th of July. Loud noises. Me having to take extra allergy medicine because I'm allergic to fireworks. Yay, I love feeling like actual crap for the 4th of July. Woo! Love it for us. Love that. I'm not the worst. I will admit. People have it way worse with, I think it's corn that a lot of people have allergy problems with fireworks, or at least the person I know. Hairspray, fireworks, stuff like that. Medicine cannot have corn or else, real bad. So, yay.